Alright, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a water pump seal on this Suzuki Rm250. It's a 1996. So with these, the water pumps are in the bottom end cases. As you can see, this is split. This is the other side of the case here. You can see I had to clean the surfaces, take off the gaskets, remove all the parts. Here's the bike over here. So, as you can see here, the old seal is rolled, and this is the OEM seal from Suzuki. I don't know if you guys could see, but it extends out a little bit, and this one doesn't. This is an aftermarket one, so I don't know if that's going to make a difference in helping it seal to this shaft, but hopefully that does. And this is the propeller that sits in there after you put the seal in. As you can see, if I just flip this over, this is where all the gears are. So I'm going to be installing a new seal and basically showing you guys how to do it yourself. You know, what you have to do and step by step of the process. Obviously, I'm starting off where the case is already split, so that's something that you're gonna have to figure out on your own. And once you get that far, I'm gonna show you how to do the seal. So yeah, this design's a bit odd. Most of the water pumps are on the outside of the case, but this is on the inside where the crank goes. Yeah, so I know there's not many videos out there of how to do this, or even videos of people doing a seal on this year bike. So I want to help you guys out and show you step by step how to do it, what you need, and what you should be doing. And yeah, we're gonna start. First thing we're gonna want to do is make sure the surface is clean. So you can see with my case, I had a little problem. I had a little high spot here, but it actually feels really smooth now because I sanded it down. I used steel wool. I made sure it was as flat and smooth as possible because you don't want any ridges or anything because that'll roll the seal in there. All right, for the first step, what we're gonna do is spray it out with brake clean and clean it out with the rag. Make sure there's no dirt in there or anything like that. There is a bearing down in there, so I don't want to spray the bearing directly because that could ruin the bearing a little bit. So what I'm going to do is spray it onto the rag and just wipe it around the surface. And then I'm also going to go around here and make sure that's clean too, so there's no stuff getting to the coolant. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and open this OEM seal. So here's the comparison. This is the old seal. You can see it's rolled, pretty fucked up. And then here's the new OEM seal. And that looks a lot better. As you can see, it's a little different, but that's what we want. We want the OEM, the right parts. This is an aftermarket seal, so it's always good to have two seals ordered on hand, just in case one rolls or anything. And that's what I did, just in case. But yeah, here we go. We got the seal here. Gonna put it back on here, and this is the way you want it to go. So you can see it's got that spring with the little lip on it. And another way you can tell is these lettering, all these tiny letters, that goes towards the front. So what it's gonna do is sit like this and seal the water out to getting into the oil on the other side. Because think about it, water's on this side, oil's on the other side. So you want it to seal the water from getting to the oil. So the next step for me, or you guys, is to press this thing in and be very gentle with it. So what I need is to get something that'll fit this diameter. So the reason I'm looking for something that'll fit around the edge is to, one, not roll the seal, because you could actually roll it if you're using something too small, and roll this front piece. And because you want it to go down straight, because you could also roll it from it being on an angle. And I want to get this as far down as possible, right where that lip is. So what I'm going to do is put the seal in very carefully and make sure it's straight. And then just press it in with your fingers. And from here, I think I'm going to use the socket. Oh, okay. So this doesn't want to fit in there. That's another issue. I'm going to have to look for something a little smaller. All right, I found the perfect socket now. This is 11/16. A short one, and you can see that fits perfectly around the seal, but it'll also fit inside the water pump. So what I'm going to do is give that gentle little taps on the way down, checking to make sure it doesn't roll or go on in on an angle, because you want it to go completely straight. Looks really good to me right now. Alright, I think that's perfect. So we're gonna check with this propeller and put it in here, make sure fits good. That fits perfect. That's a good sign. You can see it's sticking out on the other side, which is good. Give you guys a close up. So I think that's absolutely perfect. So that seal is done. Now I'm gonna clean off this surface and get ready to put the cases back together. Clean the surface with some brake clean. Make sure it's dry, no dirt. You really want these bottom end cases to seal, because where all the oil is, and if you have a leak in the bottom end, you definitely don't want to have to go and redo and take off the cases again. So yeah, that's perfect. What I'm going to do now is put this propeller in here and put the clip on the other side with the washer. I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Alright, so what you want to do is get one of these tools. They're meant for, if you get one of these tools, they're meant for closing these. So once you get one of these tools, you could open this up actually. And what that does is make sure that it fits around. So you want to start with the washer. Then once that is flush, see that's in there, you go ahead and put this around there. And sometimes what you have to do is set it down a little more so it clicks in. So as you guys can see, this thing is locked in there with that clip. The propeller is not going anywhere, it's not moving, there's no play whatsoever. But obviously it'll still spin, that's what you want. So this propeller is perfect, the seal is perfect. Now what I could do is seal this bottom end case to the transmission. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe the surface down with some brake clean before I seal it up. And you always want to make sure to put some assembly lube on this transmission. Another thing you also always want to check is the transmission. You can see it's perfect, but sometimes it tends to slip out when you're picking up a case. It could pull something out, and then before you know it, the whole transmission's fucked. So always double check that. I'm gonna go ahead and put some assembly lube on this transmission. You don't need that much because this oil is really good. Just put it on the gears a little bit. And then this shift drum, you should also put a little oil on. But once you get this thing moving, it'll kind of work in there. And then put a little where the shift drum is, because that will also help a lot. And you don't gotta go crazy, that's all you need right there. I'm also flushing this oil, so I'm gonna be checking to make sure the seal is good, and also flushing the old oil and putting new oil in this, because that makes sure that nothing bad is in the case. All these flakes of gasket maker and dirt and all that, you want most of that out. So that's what it's. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is double sealing this gasket. So that means putting gasket maker as well as the bottom end gasket, and then another layer of gasket maker on the top of that. Because before, when I just had the gasket, it actually wasn't sealing. So this will ensure that it will seal properly, and it shouldn't leak whatsoever. Just light layers is all you need. Alright, so that first layer is good. I'm gonna go ahead and put this gasket down. Make sure that's lined up. Alright, I'm gonna seal this one real quick. Alright, that case is good to go. Alright, here we go. We got this case ready. It's all gasketed up, the seal's good, propeller's good, and it's ready to go on. Now that it's lined up, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my hammer. This is where a case puller would come in handy. So I think that case is pretty much almost flush. So pretty much the bolts are gonna do the rest of the work. The best it's gonna get. So now, all right, so the last step is to line up these bolts for the cases. You always want to be very careful if you if you never like line these up in order and you just set them aside randomly. You need to know where they go. See how much like length that one needs? So you got to get these right, because if you don't, you're going to end up stripping them. So that's about the length that you need on a correct bolt. So you can see that one's perfect. This one's way too long. That's too long there. That's perfect. You gotta be 100% sure of where they go. So you can see that's perfect before you tighten these down, because it will strip them out and you do not want these to be stripped. So pretty much you just keep playing around with it, make sure they line up good. That one just lined up perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. A little socket wrench like this, and all you do is just little turns like that. Perfect. Good. Make sure to get these ones in here. Actually, I missed those. Yeah, you can see those are plenty tight. And then you just go around the whole thing and make sure they're tight enough. Perfect. Loose. Perfect. And a little loose, but that's good now. All right. So that is done. The case is together. That's a relief. All right. So the next step for me is probably going to be to turn this engine around and start working on the gears. So now that the seal's in, the propeller, the clip, the washer, all that, I'm waiting for this gasket maker to completely seal. Probably about 24 hours before I put any type of oil into it, because I want it to stick and not leak whatsoever. And I think I'll do a follow-up video of me reassembling this engine and just all the components to it. So yeah. So if you found this video helpful, or you just liked watching it, make sure to give me a like and check out some of my other videos. You may find those helpful. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful, and hopefully it helped you install one of your own, or if not, just at least you know how to do it now. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And that's going to be it for this video. Later.